and welcome to week 3 of our Introduction to Research. This week our focus will be on learning the skill of annotated bibliography. By the end of this presentation, you should understand what an annotated bibliography is and why your teacher would ask you to write an annotated bibliography. So just a quick connection to last week's work. In the last 2 weeks, you have learned how to write an academic summary as well as how to evaluate a source using the CRAP test. These are 2 very essential components to writing an annotated bibliography, which is why we learned those skills first before coming to this particular skill. What is an annotated bibliography? Essentially, an annotated bibliography is a list of all of the sources that you consulted during a research project. Each source that was consulted will include an MLA citation for the source, which is sometimes provided in the source. Other times you have to create it using the OSLIS citation maker. You have to include an academic summary of the source, and you have to include a short evaluation paragraph of the source which reviews the elements of the CRAP test to explain whether or not the source is valid, credible, and useful for your research project. So let's take a quick look at an example annotated bibliography entry. Let's pretend for a moment that you are researching the question, what are the impacts of the Zika virus on a person's health? That is a question that people probably thought a lot about 4 years ago when it was a significant virus, there was a significant outbreak in Central and South America. So if you decided ultimately that you were going to go ahead and read through the source and consult it as part of your research, then it would go in your annotated bibliography, even if you didn't end up using the source in your essay. Why would you do that? It shows your teacher how much research you did prior to writing a paper or doing a project. So, in your entry on your annotated bibliography, there are the 3 components. You would have the citation of the entry or of the source. This would be followed by an academic summary of the source, which, as you remember from last week, would include a topic sentence that identifies the main idea of the source, followed by 4 to 5 main points that support that main idea. The final paragraph of the entry would be an evaluation of the source. This evaluation would focus on elements of the CRAP test. You don't necessarily have to go in order of CRAP, but you want to hit on as many elements of CRAP as possible in your evaluation. We'll be going over this in a lot more detail in the coming lessons. So, when would you write an annotated bibliography? Unlike a works cited page where you usually wait until the end of a paper or a project to put it together, you would actually write an annotated bibliography before completing a research project. For many students, this is completely foreign because they're used to doing a works cited as kind of the finishing touch of a paper, the final part. This is actually step 1 in a research paper. It is the evidence of your research before going forward to write a paper or do a project. So why would your teacher want you to write an annotated bibliography before doing your research assignment? There's several good reasons. 1, it demonstrates evidence of the research process. It shows that you did an ample amount of research before writing your paper or before doing your project. Instead of starting to write a paper and then finding your research, this proves to your teacher that you did a certain amount of research first before moving on to the project. It also demonstrates how much and what type of research you have done prior to starting a project. Your teacher might ask that you include, 6 sources and 3 of them have to be different types of sources. For example, one might be a database article from the library, one might be a TED Talk, and one might be from a magazine. It also requires you to really read through your research carefully prior to doing your research project, and that is because you have to write an academic summary of each source for each entry. So if you have 6 sources, you'll have 6 citations, 6 academic summaries, and 6 evaluation paragraphs in your final annotated bibliography. It's proof that you read through and understood each source that you might use in your research paper. That's absolutely vital for doing a good job on a research assignment. And finally, it requires you to evaluate the source for its credibility using the CRAP test. This is why even if you have 6 sources in your annotated bibliography, you might only use 4 of them because maybe 2 of the sources are kind of mediocre and don't fully pass the CRAP test, but they were ones that you consulted prior to doing your research. In the upcoming videos, you're going to learn more about the process of creating an annotated bibliography entry like this one and how you would put it together in a final product. Stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.